Alexander Wales. What are we doing today? We are working on the exclusions document for Worth the Candle. Hoping to get at least one done, possibly two done. I added a bit here to the top of this thing. This is just like my overview of what I'm trying to do and things like that. And the big thing I'm worried about for the exclusions doc is repetition and trying to avoid that. And the exclusions have a lot in common just based on what they are. So I'm gonna do my best to avoid it. I moved my microphone a little bit, so hopefully the clattering of the keyboard will be a little bit less. But if not, whatever. That's I'm not trying to put a ton of effort into the streams, mostly just because there's like 10 people. Okay, I will move my microphone over. Is that a little bit better? The problem is that I don't really have a microphone stand or anything because I'm not a streamer. I do a podcast with Daystar, which we haven't recorded in a while. But all right, so today I'm trying not to just push all the hard ones till the end. So I think maybe Saturday will be some of the stuff that is going to need a lot of cross-reference. Today is going to be two of the harder ones, or maybe just one, depending on how it goes. The FL Easy Flaguan, I don't remember where that name came from, but is a NTAD exclusion zone. It's so the idea is that this is a I think Flaguan might mean something. I think it might be like a Gaelic monster. Okay. Yeah, no idea. But it was in the exclusions list, so we're keeping it. The idea for this one is that there's a NTAD that acts on other NTADs and unrestricts them in numerical ways, and then this eventually gets used on itself and makes some incredibly dangerous NTADs within the zone. So it's like a zone of danger and stuff, and this hyper maximization of magical effects that make it difficult or impossible to live in place, and difficult to rescue or use it. So there are two reasons that I think that this is going to be a more difficult exclusion to write. The first is NTAD or exclusions don't need to be they don't need to be non-exploitable. They just need to not have extremely warping effects on the world. So this one is restricted in that sense. It's something that needs to be written around. I'll put that there. You will probably know it already has a Juniper's note for this one. That I wrote last night when I was thinking about this, and I came back to the computer just so I could get it down. Hello. All right, we're going to get started on this. Um, so it says doesn't allow an attack roll. That maybe needs to be changed. But magic missile normally in D&D when you make a magic attack, you roll a d20. You see if it beats their armor class, and then if it does, then you hit. Magic missile has, depending on edition, I think, magic missile just hits, and there's no roll. So in theory, it should just be like just hitting. I'll work on that later, but yeah, magic missile is different from most other spells in that it just hits every time, and there's no attack roll and no way to avoid it. It's kind of weird that way, but it's like one of the basic spells in Dungeons and Dragons. I should really put the timeline in its own document, but that would be smart. Um, for dates, dates are on. There's a date field. This isn't 100% updated, and yes, I should update that. Uh, but I can go update that now. I did think about that, and then I just didn't. I didn't do it. Is 281. And yeah, that exclusions list is super ugly. Yeah, I had the idea that it would be great to have an updated list of dates, and then I don't know, seemed like work. Um, One of the things that the exclusions don't normally mention is location. Here, I think it is interesting to have it within a like specific. It's like a specific region of a kingdom. It's not uh, like even if exclusions are, um, are monitored and administered by the Empire of Common Cause in the modern day. That they like exist within a kingdom, like wholly subsumed by it, rather than being sort of no man's land. So this one is going to have that feature. I don't know what I'm doing with that exactly, but we'll see. I need. All right, I'm gonna go ask. I'm gonna go ask the bot. Huh. Okay. So the bot gave me quilt. I think that is interesting. So 68 FE is like 30 years after Uther. That sounds about right. Um, and need to change that so it's not the same number. Yeah, the zone. One of the things that prevents exploitation, or certain. Well, okay. So there's certain aspects of exploitation that are prevented by an a like maximized NTAD not being able to leave. But there are other forms of maximization that you could exploit, like if you make if you had like a wand that produced a block of cheese once a day, and it gets in there, and then it can produce like 1,000,000 blocks of cheese a day or whatever. You could still use, like, go to the border of the zone and then use it that way. Well, something that makes anything, like anything that the like product can be removed from the zone, or anything where the process is useful to remove something from the zone. You could still do that, which is, I don't know, it's fine. I mean, I don't find that super interesting, but it'll probably be noted in features that there are. Well, okay, no. So I actually did say all interaction with the zone has been prohibited by the Kingdom of Panic. So it's, in theory, you could do that, but it's prohibited to do so by the kingdom, probably because, or my thinking right now is that's because they've had instances where the NTAD can't leave the zone, but the stuff it makes can leave the zone, which means that, like, if you had a wand that fired, and I know I'm using a wand a lot, if you had a wand that fired boulders, it could send them flying, like thousands of boulders flying into the air, and then those boulders could leave the zone, causing damage to the kingdom outside of the zone, or something like that. But that'll be down the features, or possibly in the history section. Well, sound silence would have to like move their like super valuable NTADs into there, so they'd have to like uproot, and I don't know. I mean, sure, there are reasons not to move your like linchpin things into an exclusion zone, especially one that, as will be noted in features, is dangerous because of. This is part of what I think will be difficult about this, is that it's excluded. Um, like in theory, I mean, you'd have to steal it to bring it there, or like pay a lot for. I don't know. I'm not gonna worry about that right now. Um, they're like there are enough understandable reasons for that not to be the case that I'm not gonna worry about it. Yes, it's literally a quilt. Which could be mentioned in history, but is not super important. Like the actual form the entad takes is the only reason for me to alter that is that I think something is more like interesting or funny, and I think it being a quilt is like weird in the right way. How the quilt was used on itself. Okay, so there are like a number of options there. It's kept vague. It's like I don't know. There are different potential ways around that. Some like I think possibly the use of excluded magic for like would be would be the easiest way to do that, to like fold time back on itself for a period of I don't know, a minute or two. Well, it doesn't matter, but it's like if there's something cool enough, then it should be included. And if it's not cool enough, you can just keep it vague, and that's fine. And yeah, you could do an NTAD did it, but like, if that were going to be the answer, it wouldn't be interesting enough for inclusion. So I think the answer, like, I'm gonna put in a little to do to myself. So the general rule that I have, I don't think this is in text anywhere. Sorry, just oh yeah, I turned all on-screen notifications for everything off because I don't like them. No, so the rule for if an endhead will work, there's like a 90% rule. I don't think it's ever appeared in text in either This Used to Be About Dungeons or Worth the Candle, but if you can like shave off 10%. Well, yeah, so NTADs can lose a little bit of themselves, like up to 10%, and still function as they are, but they can't like fully come apart. Although I kind of go back and forth. That's my rule of thumb, though, is that you can't just like remove parts, like paper money. Sure. um, well, so the original genesis for this is just a wand of magic missile that keeps firing forever and destroying everything around. All right, so what do I find cool about this exclusion? I think it's the idea of the power. There's something that I've said in I think this used to be about dungeons that like you can always imagine a more powerful version of an entad, and it's the limits um, that make them interesting. Uh, so like the interesting thing here is that you can take any entad and you can imagine like what it would be like if it was just unchained and let free. Um, so I think features is going to be the most difficult part because you need to like think about what exactly makes the zone so unlivable and like how you try to get past that. So one of the reasons I added numerical is so that you don't get definitional changes. I mean, like it's numerical changes. It's not like um, definitional changes like the any blade turning into things that aren't blades or there are a lot of entads. It's like first of all, that's a harder question to answer. Like if you have a wand that creates rabbits, does it suddenly stop? Like does it suddenly able to make any like mammal? It's just like you'd run into a lot of problems. Yes, the any blade would be able to change. It would be able to be longer and like heavier and whatever other metrics. Maybe it would be able to change faster depending on if it's like the numerical thing is also like a heavily D&D thing because you can just like look for numbers in how those magic items are defined. But we're not quite done with history yet. Okay. No, I still need that to do. Okay. Now we can move on to features. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The FL Easy. Okay, I gotta go. Is that an old-timey train? Yes. There's a train that goes by, it's like 2 blocks away, 3 blocks. We also do have modern trains. This is like a real old-timey train um, that goes by once a day, um, goes up the shore, and so I hear it every now and then. I'm surprised that the microphone picks that up and like very little else, but yeah, we've got an old timey train. You get to like ride on it and pretend you're a passenger in the early 1900s. Okay. Before I forget, okay. Oh, I didn't do word count at the start of the stream, but it was almost exactly 5,000. Um, so written 700, maybe 800 words, which is not too bad for 40 minutes. That's kind of bad for 40 minutes. Um, I'll try to keep going though. If you brought in the crown, no, you'd be able to see. Okay, so if you bring in the crown that allowed June to look through the eyes of other people within, I can't remember the range of it. It might have been 50 feet, or something like that. But could you see through the eyes of everyone in the world? No, it would end at the border of the zone. And that's necessary because otherwise it would break the entire setting. Like if the effect could go beyond the zone, or if the magical effect could go beyond the zone, then it would break the whole setting. Uh, Numerical numbers do have a stopping point. Um, I don't think that'll be defined in here, but there are functional limits. I like the idea that they're like not integer overflows, but like maximum values for integers. But that's not going in the doc, I don't think. And no, I will not explain why it's called the Kingdom of Panic. I just like the name. Yeah, if Bethel went in the zone, she would. Well, yes, she would in theory. I mean, so it depends on exactly how it's defined. I think her self designated room, like, still needs to be a room. She can't, like, say, hey, the closet is outside of myself. I'd have to double check that, but he would be able to get the quilt. He wouldn't be able to disarm it though. I mean, he'd have to disarm all the other, like even if you remove the quilt, all the other stuff in the zone would still be there and be active. He would be able to like go in and stop the quilt and put an Entad ward around it, but that doesn't like that doesn't accomplish much, I guess. Okay, I'm gonna come back to this one at some point. I think it is. It's almost 1,000 words, so I think that's probably fine for that one. I need to. So I do enjoy putting little to-dos in for myself. To do more effects. And actually more specific effects will make this a better entry. So yeah, I'm going to call this one first pass done. Second pass will be when I have more patience for it. We're just going to mark this red for now, which means that it's like 90% done. And what's my other one? I did not put it down. It was divination magic. Okay. Moving on. Sure, that's a good idea. Portal guy, what was the other suggestion? Was copy cleaning. Not cop clanning, that's a different thing. Okay. Alright. Yeah. Alright, so this is the divination. Yeah, copy cleaning is Doris magic. It would need to be a little known use of that. Should be fine. It could be portals. Could be like bending through time. It could be. I don't know. There's. It could be like duplication. There are a couple different things that it could be, but I'll need to think about it. It's one of the things that I would like for at least some of these to do is to tie to each other, so that you read something in one entry and then it matches up to something in a different entry, and the whole thing feels more like cohesive or like you're uncovering stuff. But I will need to think about that and then think about which ones are linked and what kind of like threads will run through above and beyond all the stuff that comes through from like history, because the Second Empire is going to get mentioned a lot. It's like one of the major forces of history. There are a number of Utherian exclusions, which will need to be like little Uther stories, basically. So, there are closed exclusions, which are like an exclusion that was like an NTAD exclusion, then someone went in and broke the NTAD, and so the exclusion zone is dead. But for now, we're moving on to the Million Nations Easy. This is just a dump on. It's literally nothing more than dump pun, but you got to commit to your dump puns. So, we're gonna call this 229, which puts it in the middle of the Second Empire. That's all the hat does. The hat of brilliant protection, that's all it does, is brainwashing. Literally its entire thing. that is such a dumb pun, and I love it. Okay. 5911. Okay, so in theory this will be 6 4 something something. That's enough. Uh, Yeah, I don't know how to spell bureaucratic. Um, I take a stab at it, and I hope Google corrects me. It's, now you've seen my shame. I'm actually super bad at spelling. Um, Spell check helps a lot, and um, I had a problem when I went on vacation to Fargo, um, and I didn't have internet, which was fine because you can use Google Docs offline. But I was offline, and so the spell checker wasn't working, and I connected to the internet after having written like a chapter and a half, and it was just like I saw so many spelling like errors popping up. It was like it was shocking how bad I actually am at spelling because most of the errors get fixed as I go. Like I get it close enough. What was that wrong? Oh my god. Okay, this will be a shorter one. We are at 1 hour and 8 minutes off time. Okay. Um, say no, tell me that in real terms. That would be 10 million. Sure. $100 million. Yeah, right. Yeah, okay. A warder could see the borders, yeah. I don't know if that needs to be added to that sentence. I try I try not to add like that kind of stuff because I feel like it ends up clunky if you add like every time. But I am open to the idea that it is a necessary addition. Sure. The laws are one of the hazards, yeah. Maybe I can clarify that. Like autonomous border control means that you can potentially enter one of these nations and then not be allowed to leave. So you just starve to death there. How do people living in these tame nations sustain themselves? That's left as an exercise to the reader. I think that's good for this one. This needs a second pass, but I think it has all the stuff that I found compelling about the idea. Which means that it is time for the end of the stream. 6,556. So that's about 650 words for that one. All right, good enough. For next time, well, I mean, like, yeah, it can. It only needs to be like 5 or 6 paragraphs. For next time, what are we gonna do? This can go red. We'll do crystal magic for sure. And okay, so I don't believe that one has a name. I will go look at Quantumancy isn't the same. Crystal Magic, I need to go see if that's got a note. Where is my template? Did I destroy it? Yes, I did. Oh, template's gone. Okay. We have nature, history, features. Sorry, this is just busy work. I know this is not exciting. Line break. Okay, so this will be crystal, and what's the other one I'm doing? I did not decide. I think we'll do lunar. Okay. So those, whoops, those will be the 2 for next time, if they're done. Possibly won't get to 2. That is the stream for today. And at like an hour and a half sounds great to me. I will see you guys tomorrow. It is a Saturday, which I guess I'll just be streaming at the same time, and then no stream Sunday. I think these have been going well enough. for me to keep doing it. So thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.